Here and figure out what that is. A sunburst of copper filament surrounds a dial that looks to be about twice the size of a hen's egg. The filaments cross and diverge, ending in bead-tipped nodes. Each wire has a point of origin somewhere along the edge of the dial. Runes are inscribed around the dial. Turn the dial. Nothing happens. Nothing happens. Alright. Something you need. Remind me about Icantha. Yeah, she gave you the words to command the tower. I need something else first. Find her somewhere here in the district. What are you?
15 years at Brackenbury. 7 tours to the ruins beyond Solace Vale. I'm an animancer. Still an animancer.
Animancer. His gaze lights on the Adra post with sudden recognition. He starts to turn back to the copper dials. Yeah, I'm going to assume I'm going to have to kill him at some point. So we have to find the lady. Coxie? Right.
You return. What if you come seeking this time?
I need the words that operate the riffing machine in the tower.
That fool Aldhelm. He sent you, didn't he? I can hardly believe he's had the cleverness to survive. That simpleton thinks he can understand how to use something without understanding what it is, or why it is.
You feel a hot core of pride smouldering at the center of her soul.
He dabbles with ancient and powerful devices, with all the finesse of a blacksmith. He sends you here to petition me for aid after years of disparaging my research. I'll bet he didn't even tell you the tower's name, did he? That's his problem. Always looking for solutions without caring for meaning.
Tell me the tower's name or just humble Ardwin now by demonstrating the value of your research. My silence demonstrates is more succinctly. That's a new word. Succinctly. I love doing these kind of things. New words pop up and I don't know what they are. Succinctly. In a brief and clearly expressed manner. Okay, right. Your words fan the strange coals at the center of her soul. I'm not going to be... I could be passionate, but just tell me the name.
Ternuneth. It's called Ternuneth. They built the machine atop it to contain souls, hold them in place. But the others I've seen, machines scattered all over the Deerwood, are relays. Built to move souls.
How do you operate the machine atop?
Back to these tinkers' concerns. And what would you do with these tethered souls if I told you?
Release them? Release them?
So you say. And just what would you release them to? They'd abandon their existence here for another somewhere else, equally aimless and meaningless.
I could help you, but I won't. The pride lodged in her soul flares up, twisting into the shape of something that withers and squeals within her. Here I have specimens aplenty and time enough to observe them all. It's every scientist's dream. My answer is no. But what good is observing all this if you're going to hoard it for yourself? Tell her, an entire language at your fingertips, and she hides it away. Extinguishing pride. Fate of the trapped souls is more important. That's inconsequential. Their existence means nothing. They don't even understand their predicament, which you and I see so clearly. Her pride blazes on. Through them, I will accomplish more than any of my peers. And who will know about this? Could be stoic. Yeah, stoic. The burning things roars to life. Nothing is more important. We gather and study, and through it, transcend the thousands insectoid lives that brought us to us. You will know about it. Yeah, I'm not going to be passionate here. I could be, but I'm not. The pride thing flickens as the flames around it abate. But like an aura. Oh yeah, there's something in her. Noticed that there. All I've learned is years of studying the Withing language. No one understands it better than me. That counts for something. Knowledge is meaningless unless it's shared. Yeah, I'm going with Big Elephant. A foolish and false sentiment. Knowledge is meaning. It needs no external purpose. Our pride smoulders still. Okay, your opportunities here are finite. One day that knowledge will die with you. Pride hisses and sputters. It's little more than an ember now. You're wrong, but there's no conviction in her voice. I'll bold it forever. Ah, so essentially we're trying to bring her down back to like normal, essentially. I think that's what we're trying to do here. But there's no conviction in her voice. I'll bold it forever. I'll cling to it. That'll give me something. Teach me what you know. I'll make sure that it grows and your legacy lives on. Your words finally quench her pride, and all that remains is a blackened diamond hard rock. You cast it away, where it melts into the darkness.
So be it. My studies and efforts shall grow through yours.
Cool.
These are the words you need.
Cold, dry fingertips rest on your temples, and you feel her reaching into your mind, forming images from the darkness. Runes flash through your head, but they're no longer just pictures. They have meaning, and you understand them. They're commands. Something triggers in your mind, a distant memory unearthed from the past life long since buried. You can see a vast array of runes, far more than Icantha has shown you, and you know their sound and their meaning and how they fit together. The language of Anguith, once more at your command.
Something has awakened in your mind. You understand far more than I ever did. Take this knowledge then, and do what you will with Ter Nunith. Now that you understand its purpose, it will serve you in whatever way you wish.
Speaker of dead tongues now, and so he surpasses 100 frustrated scholars in the matter of a few moments. I don't suppose you could look at a few books for me? Possibly. What do I do with the tower now that I know these words? The towers around Dre were constructed to move souls. Why would they do that? Another mystery. Hypothetically, anywhere they wished. The real questions, as always, is why. To intermix them the way a player shuffles his deck, the way a farmer rotates his field, to collect them like butterflies under glass, to melt them down for raw essence. Unfortunately, I don't know. Remind me, how do you know so much about the tower? I read the runes like a journal. I understand their meaning. People like Aldhelm try to read them like instruction manuals, and in doing so, they miss their true meaning completely. I still don't understand why the Anglithans would want to build a machine that tethers souls. Yeah, that's weird. Perhaps they didn't. Perhaps that's why they built no other machines like this one. We now see the Anglithans as masters of soul manipulation, but they couldn't have attained their expertise without copious trial and error. Perhaps this was one such experiment. What do I do with the tower now that I know these words?
Turn it off, I expect. That will be easy now that you can read the runes. The vessels would still roam, but striking them down would return their essence to the cycle. But be careful. That machine controls hundreds of souls, and that volume of essence could easily overload it. Improperly channeling the essence would destroy the machine along with the souls. It would be a terrible loss for posterity.
I don't know. Destroying it seems like it might do this place some good. Yeah, I think that would do. Explain how the controls will work. The words work. Harnessing the power of Tear the With is about understanding what it was designed to do. You know the words and their meaning. You can speak them, and the tower shall obey. Alright. Right. Now I understand the Gwithin language, I can return to the machine at the top. Yeah. So what do we do? What do we do? What shall we do? Panels covered with runes which you can now understand. You recognise words for end and for hold. The dial is currently fixed on hold. You also recognise by the inscription that the manner in which you turn the dial is a means of throttling the device. Actually, what exactly do they do? I choose end, it just ends it. These throttle in hopes of overloading the device. Now, why would I want to overload it? On command, you give the dial a final twist. The wheel spiral spins faster and faster, wobbling from their axis. The light filling the machine quickly becomes too bright to behold. You look away and cover your ears, but the thunderous crash that follows shakes the floor beneath you. When you look back, the machine is in ruins, never to be used again. Extraordinarily positive. Okay. Whoops! Didn't mean to do that.
Still and silent. It's finally over.
Okay, so I overloaded the machine. Beg your pardon, I have a message for you. You're summoned to Hazard House where Lady Webb wishes to meet you as soon as possible. Not much you can do in these parts without Lady Webb knowing about it. At least that's what I've always heard. I guess it's true. How do you know where to find me? Well, it's Lady Webb. She knows everything. Tell me about the Lady Webb. Do you not know Lady Webb? She's, well, no one's seen her exactly in a long time, but she's the mistress of Dunryd Ro. She's been for as long as anyone can remember. She has been. He pauses, eyeing passers-by with suspicious. There's nobody here. There's nobody here. She's supposed to be older than anybody, and she never leaves her room. Some say she wasted away and she's just a pile of bones kept animated by dark magics. She's still at it, but best anyone can tell. Learning things, keeping us safe, pulling the strings behind the throne too, it's said. Has a ring of ciphers doing her bidding, telling her everything that goes on. You do wrong in this country, before you go asking the gods for forgiveness, best you ask Lady Webb first. So where is Dunryd Ro? A whole mess of ciphers run out of Hazard House. They make it their business to keep the peace, but they don't like you to see them do it. Problems in the city have a way of going away on their own, and when that happens, you can make a pretty good guess as to why. Where is Hazard's house? I'm Brackenberry, my lord. At the southwest corner, you'll find the lady upstairs. Brackenberry, southwest corner. Brackenberry, southwest corner. The tower, it's off. Does this mean the curse of Heritage Hill is lifted? It wasn't a curse, but yes, the district is safe again, I guess. It wasn't a curse, but yes, the district is safe again. I think it'll be some time before anyone will be willing to settle in this district again. but at least we can get started on restoring it. Tell you what she has to say first. Move again. Oh. As you near the apparition, you are overcome suddenly by a powerful anxiety that sits like a stone in your stomach. The feeling is not quite real, the recollection of an emotion rather than the emotion itself. It wrenches your insides nevertheless. The apparition's brow is tense, a look of concern playing across its face.
The other missionaries say you have been neglectful of your duties.
I do. My mind has been elsewhere. They lie.
Oh? And what troubles you?
Pain in your stomach deepens, and you feel for a moment as though you're about to be sick. Your mouth has gone dry. Forgive me, Eminence. I wish to leave the order. What? When was I in an order? What? Man folds his fingers together and presses them to his mouth. Thoughtful.
You have been an apt student, and your convictions have inspired those around you. May I ask what has changed to make you feel this way?
Is he talking about Aeloth? The people we intended to convert, they committed unspeakable acts, sacrifices, mutilations. Well, speak to me. I've done something unforgivable. We were attacked on my last mission. Oh, we intended to convert, they committed unspeakable acts. The apparition exhales slowly and its lips press together, a sympathetic report in its eyes. It places its hands on your shoulder.
These are the ways of the heathen world.
Surely the gods would do better to destroy us all and start anew.
Perhaps they would. It may come to that one day. This is why we must not fail. The heathens are beyond the gods' reach. They do not know better. We are tasked with delivering them to the gods, so that the gods may heal their souls.
Is such a thing possible?
I have seen it with my own eyes. You will see it too, if you choose to remain. There is no greater calling than the one we have chosen. Neither words, nor wealth, nor battle will end this suffering. Only the gods. Will you give them that chance?
No choice. The knot in your stomach seems to loosen all at once, and the anxiety is replaced with something else entirely, something warm and soothing, and it is something you know you can never repay. As the vision fades, you start to become cognizant of the many odd looks aimed in your direction. Your last response echoes in your mind. I will. Okay. I had no choice. Okay.
Hello?
Excuse me, I've been looking for you. You're the one who lifted the curse on. It's not a curse. It's not a curse. My lady, who wishes to remain anonymous, has entrusted me with bringing you this pistol. It belonged to a dear friend of hers who was lost to the curse. For your part in reclaiming Heritage Hill, my lady wishes you to have it. Here, may it serve you well. Thank you. You're quite welcome. St. Graham's Spark. Now, I must go off fairly well. Okay. There was no X. There was nothing. Nothing at all. Lady Webb. You look like a man. I'm just saying. This weapon clutches a thick stack of parchment with spindly, wrinkled fingers. The flesh stretched thin to a near translucence with extreme age. A gossamer veil over pale blue veins. Ink splotches and candle burns dot and stripe her hands like a quote patterned after some great inscribable truth. She does not look up from her reading.
So, the messenger conveyed my summons. A miracle that would make the reincarnation of Eothas look like a child's cantrip, surely. It doesn't draw the most inspired minds, messenging. They failed me so many times of late, I nearly sent a cipher after you instead. So this is the Watcher who took over Cad Noir. Oh, don't look so surprised. It isn't an attractive expression. I wouldn't be where I am for long if I let details like that escape me.
Aldhelm scratching the back of his neck. So it's true. Those spies of hers don't miss much.
Since then, as I understand it, you entered a quarantine district that is absolutely off limits to all civilians and somehow managed to walk back out with your life. What could possibly have been on your mind to make you do such a thing?
There was something. There's someone I need to find. This investigation, strange group.
Strange does not begin to describe them. The practices of the Leaden Key defy all reason.
So she knows.
You're not the only one with an interest in their recent activities. I've lost 4 ciphers this year alone trying to get someone inside their ranks. As it is, we only have our suspicions about who is in the group and what they intend, which I suppose means we have much in common with them. I asked you here because I wanted to know what your interest was in all of this. I thought perhaps we might help each other. Why are you looking for the Leaden Key?
I'm going to say I ran across a man. It's important that I find him again. Closes her eyes and the lids flicker. Then her face goes still and her mouth parts, little more than a sliver, and her hand briefly drops open, spilling some of her parchment to the ground, the pages wafting around her legs like the leaves of a dying tree. Her fleshy eyelids peel back, and her gaze is immediately upon you.
The gods are cruel, I'm afraid. The man you seek is Theos Ix Arcanon, Grand Master of the Leaden Key. One of the most elusive and dangerous men Eora has ever known.
How do you know I seek Theos?
Because you have seen his face, and that makes it a simple matter for me to see it. You even happened to catch him in his ceremonial garb, it seems. Must have been a special occasion.
Can you tell me about him?
More than most, though very few would know so much as his name. And there is no way of knowing how much of what I've read is true. The Leaden Key dates back more than 2,000 years. If rumors are to be believed, Theos was the one who created it. What scraps of evidence exist suggest that he has died many times, only to be reborn each time exactly the same man. Awakened during adolescence with all the knowledge and experience of all his lifetimes. The plots he orchestrates sometimes take hundreds of years to bear fruit. Needless to say, this is not the natural order of things. But he is said to be one of Whitaker's favored, and that old bat was never one to let rules get in the way of favoritism. That may also explain another supposed gift of his. His body is no boundary to his soul, and he is known to take possession of others, if their souls are weak enough. Often it is for elaborate deceptions, but sometimes he simply forces them to kill themselves. He is not known for his generous supply of pity. He is also not one to show himself in any but their most critical matters. If he has directly involved himself in whatever the group plots now, it may be your only chance to find him. And once you do find him, if you can find him, I would not hold my hopes too high if I were you. He is a driven, single-minded man. He will not have the slightest concern for your problems.
No, I don't know about that, because he certainly seems he showed pity on me outside. So how do you know so much about him?
The same way I come by all my knowledge. Exhaustive research, spying, bribery, perhaps some less savory measures. Whatever the knowledge demands, I pay in full. There is nothing of greater value. Unfortunately, with Theos, there is also nothing more scarce. He has covered his tracks far too well. His manipulations of the course of history are lost to time now, though I believe they were many.
You know about the leading
Precious
key.
little, I'm afraid. You may know much of it already. No one member knows the identity of more than a handful of other members. They are kept in the dark of missions they are not involved in, or sometimes of those they are involved in. They exist to hide secrets they themselves don't know. If you can imagine how gullible someone must be for that to appeal. Despite that, they are very good at what they do, owing much to their founder, who will take matters into his own hands when necessary. And he does not fail.
So what do you want from me?
Keep me informed. The Leaden Key has been busy lately, and that is distressing news. I can only guess as to what they intend. You seem to have a knack for turning the stones they've crawled beneath. Keep turning them. Dunryd Ro will not stop you. Whatever it is they're up to, figuring it out will be of great use to both of us. In your case, it will surely point you to Theos. In return, I will share our knowledge with you as we learn it, and provide you with what assistance I can.
Sure.
If you find your trail has run cold, come to me with whatever you have. There is much I may be able to do for you.
There's someone I can tell you about the leading key operation.
Well, let's hear it.
The Englyph Tower in Hedge Hill contains an ancient machine that can control the flow of souls. The leading key activated it.
This is troubling. That civilization seems to have known more about the mechanics of souls than anyone since. The Leaden Key was born in that period. It may be that Theos has full knowledge of their technology.
Well, if you
The
certainly
applications of this
agree on that
machine
one.
you speak of, I don't want to think about it. If we can learn more about their goals and methods, perhaps we can get the palace behind us. With Avar's support, we may be able to put a stop to this.
Possibly.
Yes?
Tell me about Dunryd Ro.
All the things there are to know in this world, and you ask me about work. Deerwood is a rebel country. Conflict is in its blood. If you think a few guards posted in our cities keep chaos at bay, you are very new to town indeed.
Really?
We are Deerwood's cipher investigators, of course. But what we really are is its last barrier against anarchy.
Eyes.
People are more at ease when they believe they are watched over by someone more enlightened than they are. It pacifies them. So that is the image we foster. And we do try to be enlightened for their sake. The knowledge we gather here is Deerwood's standing army in many ways. We learn what's vital and we act on it while Deerwood sleeps, blissfully unaware of the terrifying truths all around them. I wish I could tell people the things I know sometimes. But the truth is, I don't think many of them could bear it.
Maybe.
Me? I started this place in a different time, under a different duke. I impressed the duke with my research and my work ethic, and he became possessed of the notion that I would be ideal to lead a secret network of gifted investigators. I don't know how such an idea got into his head.
How old are you? She gives a half-hearted gasp and covers her mouth with her crumpled fingers. You wicked man. Where are your manners? Were you raised without a shred of decency? Oh, no, I need to know how old you are.
I lost count ages ago. Such a strange thing to celebrate. Getting
Well, if you
closer
just tell
to
me the
death.
year that you were born, I could figure it out.
I've had my share of work done to prolong my existence, if that's what you're wondering. I'm not ashamed of it. I'm not done here. There are things I still wish to learn. And I'll be the effigy if I let Berith carry me off before I'm through.
Before I'm through.
There was a time when I considered enlisting the theorems of Pondgrum to extend my life indefinitely. I found the thought of devouring my political enemies to sustain my own life greatly appealing. I must have gone soft with age.
Yep, you're soft in age. Are you psychic?
If you are hoping I can look at your hand and tell you whom you should marry, you can just wipe that notion from your mind. I do not know what will happen tomorrow. That is what I pay spies for. Being a cipher is not unlike being a watcher. You notice more about what is already there.
There.
Many can hold an object and know where it's been, or peer into the thoughts of people around them. They can also sometimes affect those thoughts, but that would be unethical, of course. A tiny, talented few pick up so much about the world around them, they can get images of things to come, but these are fleeting and unreliable.
You said you don't know what will happen tomorrow.
Who said I was talented? I don't. Least not that I can trust. And with me, it's only ever about one thing anyway.
That is?
A quiet day at home.
Is there a Lord Webb?
There was.
What happened?
He believed in dying with dignity. He was old-fashioned that way, my husband. We saw the world very differently, he and I. But he was good to me while he lasted.
While he lasted. Oh, that's nice. While he lasted. Well, of course.
Yes?
Hey.
Try your best not to die out there.
Easy peasy. What about what I did? What I did.